Hello everyone, welcome back to Need for Speed Unbound. Today we are going to be looking at the Mazda RX-7 in A+ and S-Class. And the best part of it is, we're going to be doing it in multiplayer today. Yay! So I can have some actual challenges, I hope. Alright, so let's go take a look at the A+ build. Good news is, for the engine, we aren't doing any swaps. We are sticking with the stock engine, which is the 1.3 liter Wankel. Then for the parts, we're using a lot of the same parts in this too. For the A+, we are using the basic induction, the sport ECU, the super fuel system, super exhaust, super dual turbocharger, with the sport nitrous, the elite road suspension, the super brakes, the elite grip tires, the elite clutch, the sport 5-speed gearbox, and we aren't even bothering with the differential because it's not necessary. And then the standards of super nitrous grip and super nitrous drift. For the handling, we are set to 5% drift, with the steering sensitivity up all the way, downforce 2 to the right, and drift entry as brake tap. This will give you a 182 mile per hour top speed, a 3.40 to 60 with an 11.4 quarter mile. Alright, let's go see if we can find anyone to race me in A+. Alright, so it's Lakeshore Remix against 2 other drivers for now. One of them in a Porsche, and I think the other one's in a Skyline. I didn't really get a good glance. Yes, a Skyline. So let's find out how this thing does in an actual race, because I have yet to actually race this thing. So the Porsche is just taking the lead, which doesn't really surprise me too much there. But it's not all just about that off-the-line speed. It's about sustained speed, it's about handling, it's about getting back up to speed, and how you... Whoa, what is going on there? That was more drifting than I meant to have happen. Wow, that was some accidental driftiness. And so far, it's not looking real good for me. Looking like I'm not going to stand a very good chance in this race. But you know, that happens. You can't win them all, and not every build is the best build out there. But it's worth doing it to find out if it's worth it for me or worth it for you. Ooh, almost got the Skyline, not quite. Thought I was going to pass him there, but I was wrong. Such is life. Come on. At least let me get second place. That'd be nice. Alright, I took him in that corner. That's nice. Ooh, and then I wrecked out, so that's fun. I apparently hit a solid boulder that is just sitting there for no good reason, other than to wreck me out. Ah, well. I didn't have real high hopes for this build in the A+ anyway, but I thought it would do better than I have been. So the fact that I'm not doing quite as well as I thought I would is a little surprising to me. Hopefully I can just hold on to second, and we'll see how that goes, because it's not looking good at this moment. Oh, God. I am not doing real well at all on this course. And that Skyline just took advantage of that big mistake. So now it's just which one of us can actually get there and hold it. That Porsche was just gone. Alright, I got second. Alright. I will take it. It was a bit of a battle to get it, but hey, I'll take it. That was at least not a boring race. Let's see if I can do any better on the next. And bye-bye, Porsche. It was nice knowing you. So, I don't know how this is going to handle this course because, like I said, I haven't raced this at all. I've done some driving around in the open world testing, but that's about it. I'm surprised the Porsche isn't farther away than what it is right now, and the Skyline has just gotten left in the dust. So that's kind of nice. Alright, let's get a little extra boost off of these cars and see if I can't... Well, he's starting to pull on this straight right here. So apparently it's good on straights and not great on corners? I'm not sure. Oh god, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Oh god, that was almost a very bad mistake. So this time I have less of a concern about getting second place as I try to beat this car, which who knows if it'll actually happen. I don't think it will. I think he's just got too much of a lead on me and he needs to screw up in this corner for me to be able to do it. And that's going to do it for this race, and I will be finishing hardcore second place. Which really, against that car, second's not bad. I mean, that's a pretty good car in A+. I really should look into building that one, but I haven't done it yet. Alright, and so for the last race of the A+, I almost messed up my launch. Go figure that one. It's harder for me to get my launch right while I am trying to talk about things. Yeah, I cut that corner hard there, and that's probably the only time I'm going to have the lead, is my guess. Unless that Porsche just isn't good on the corners, which is totally possible. I just totally off-road drifted that entire thing. I mean, really, corner-wise, this isn't bad. It feels pretty good with how it drifts. I wish the acceleration was slightly better than it is. As you can see, there he is. Oh god, there we go. I thought I was going to hit that car, and I thought I was going to be in a whole lot of trouble wrecking out hitting it. So here we go down a straight, and you could see he just took it right back, which does not surprise me in the least bit. If I could have made that drift a little less angled than what it was, I think I could have passed him in that corner. But I had just too much angle going on, and then I just had too much drift coming out of that one. Because I had boosted with my nitrous, thinking, oh yeah, you know, I'll be alright coming out of this, and then it just gave me extra drift that I didn't want to have. And I'm talking so much, which is why my driving is so horrendously bad. There we go. Oh no, no. Alright, I managed to hold on for second place in that one too. So, second place in all three races, second place overall, not bad for A+ against the Cayman. So, I'm not upset about that. It handled pretty well. It handled how I expected it to handle. So, let's go hop over, switch in the parts for S, and see if I can do any better in S-Class. Okay, so here we are with the S-Class build. Like I had stated previously, you're sticking with the stock engine, the 1.3 liter Wankel. For the parts, it's a bunch of super stuff. So, super induction, super ECU, super fuel system, super exhaust, Super Dual Turbocharger. We have Super Nitrous, which is a nice one because usually I'm stuck in Sport, but this one I get to use Super. Elite Road Suspension, Super Brakes, Elite Grip Tires, Elite Clutch, the Pro 6-speed gearbox. Again, the differential you don't have to touch. Super Nitrous Grip and Super Nitrous Drift. Alright, let's hit that S-Class up. Oh, wait, I forgot to show you the handling. The handling stayed the same too. With 5% drift, steering sensitivity all the way up, downforce 2 to the right, and drift entry is brake tap. With a top speed of 208 miles per hour, a 0 to 60 of 3 seconds, and a quarter mile of 10.8. Alright, now let's go race it. Okay, so I managed to get one other person to race against me in a Spec R Aero. If I remember correctly, they weren't at the top of S-Class. So I don't know if this is going to be a decent race or not. If they beat me, then we know this car is complete garbage. But off the line, I have left them in the dust. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They do not want to catch me. Alright, that gripped through that corner better than I expected, in all honesty. Yeah, I knew that car was going to be there. So this is a little bit more of a wild build just because it is focused towards drift rather than grip. But so far it seems like it's viable. I know the car I'm racing against isn't at the top of the class, so it's not a great example of it, but it does allow me to run this race and see how the car will perform otherwise. Hopefully he doesn't drop. That was a really good drift around that corner. With the car being set for drift, I wouldn't expect any less out of it. But sometimes you can set a car for drift and it is just no bueno. Oh, I love that Super NOS. It's not something I get to use very often. Most of my builds end up with Pro because I want the car to have as much acceleration as I can. And sometimes you gotta sacrifice that nitrous just to get there. Don't hit the tree, don't hit the tree. Oh, goody, goody, goody. Alright, so now we're in the home stretch for this race. He is way back there. I don't know if he wrecked into a tree or something. I wouldn't have expected him to be that far back, even though he's underpowered. But I don't know. Maybe this car is better than I actually thought it was. Alright, so let's find out what we get to for this race. I mean, hitting 182 down that stretch is pretty good too. We're going to end up with a time of what? Come on. I hate that you have to wait right there. 2:13. Not bad for this race at all. Not bad at all. He's going to DNF. They're too far away to finish the race. But at least they haven't quit yet. I say yet, because God knows if they're going to stick around or not. So here we go with the second one of this race. Ooh, I messed up my launch. That's okay. If you are interested in a Silvia Spec R Aero that is tuned up all the way to the top of S-Class, I do have a video for that, just in case you were curious what it looks like. Because this thing is not it. Alright, through that it wasn't too bad, which is good because that is a tricky corner for a lot of cars, and it is very easy to mess that corner up. So I'm glad to see that this handled it pretty well. And this is a section that can be challenging for some people. because of all the traffic. It's not bad if you're all by yourself, and I think they hit someone, but it's not bad if you're by yourself. If you're trying to race against 2, 3, 4 people down that section, it gets really hairy really quick. I thought I would have some burst NOS coming out of there, but I was wrong. See, down this stretch without using all of my nitrous, I was at 177 for my top speed. So not quite as fast as, say, my RSX build that I use in S-Class a lot, which is usually topping out at 192 going down that stretch, which coincidentally is also its top speed. So I'm already 900 yards ahead of this car. Okay. I was really hoping more people would get into this race, or that I'd at least have somebody that had a fully built out car that could make it more of a challenge, but if nothing else, it's making the car look good. Like I said, I'm not getting a great test on it, but we'll see. Still not enough coming around that corner. I thought for sure I could get the burst up, but I was wrong. And I have a feeling this build is going to finish over 3 minutes at the end of the race. That car just despawned. Like, I was close to hitting it, and it just despawned. It was like, alright, I'll get out of your way. The game threw me a bone for once. And that corner back there also has a really bad respawn spot. So if you wreck out in the corner, it'll put you further up the road than you were to begin with, which sometimes puts you ahead of other vehicles. So that's always fun too. Alright, here we come in the home stretch here. See if I can't do this enough to give myself some boost, some burst NOS coming down here. Did I get any? Nope, not one little bit. That was a waste. So coming down here at 167, we finished at 310. Definitely not the fastest build out there. I can tell you that just on the 310 finish. And I didn't wreck into anything or have any really hairy spots in that race. That is 20 seconds slower than my best time on this course. So just extrapolating out from that, I'm going to say this probably isn't the best S-Class build out there. But for this car, I think it's alright and fun. Alright, so here we go with the final S-Class race of the series. I've won the entire series, so it doesn't really matter if I win or lose this race. But I'm still going to try to win it just to see how the car does, because it's nice to see it on different tracks and see how it wants to handle different things that courses throw at it. Alright, that drifted a little more than I would have liked. Partially my fault because I didn't control it correctly. So around here, I mean, it's gripping the road well in the sections it should grip. Like, that was all grip until it turned into an accidental drift, which was a good drift. I'm not gonna lie, that was a nice drift. I do think because of the way this car drifts, it'll get you through some corners faster than it will other cars. Like this one right here, it held its speed pretty well going through the corner. I mean, yes, it lost speed when I initiated the drift, but it held the speed it had pretty well through the drift, which a lot of cars will lose a lot of speed in the drift. Like, they almost come to a dead stop when you're done. And it seems to handle decently well on the dirt. It just loses so much speed like so many cars do on the dirt. It doesn't get quite enough air to give you the burst NOS there like I would hope. But I'm not surprised by that either, just given how slow it was going over the dirt there. And now we come to the technical part of this course, which is where I'd love to see how this is going to perform. I mean, it does handle these corners extremely well, which is nice. Especially if you drift it just right, so that you're not over drifting it or under drifting it or any of that. I probably shouldn't have drifted that one. That corner you can usually take without a drift and get a full set of burst knots coming out of there just by gripping the corner. So I can't tell if he wrecked or just stopped on that hairpin turn. So yeah, the car was fun to drive. I do wish I had better competition to show it off against, but as online goes, it just takes too long to get races going sometimes, or you just don't get the best tuned cars to race against. Okay, so I actually was able to get into another S-Class race with the RX-7 that was actually full. So a session of 8 people. There were a plethora of cars in it. The one that won overall was a McLaren F1. No surprise there. A Skyline 7 from 1971 finished in 3rd, and I don't remember what finished 2nd. I finished 4th overall in the RX-7. And that was going from a 3rd place finish, a 4th place finish, to a 5th place finish. Some of that wasn't really my fault. I got wrecked out in the 2nd race on Rapid Transit, which wasn't my fault. It was netcode. I avoided the race, but then the netcode just decided to put the vehicle right in front of me, which wrecked me out. And then as soon as I spawned back in, I got wrecked again. So that race was shot from that point on. The 2nd race, I got bumped around going around a corner, which messed up my line, which put me in a spot I didn't want to be, and then I got spun. So that messed up the 3rd race for me. But right now I am going to probably revisit the build on this car and see if I can make it better than what it is. Even though it has a top speed of 200 whatever, I think it was like 208, it doesn't seem to want to get there with the current gearing. It hits into the 180s and then doesn't ever really seem to get past that. So there's no point in having a top speed of 208 if you don't get past 180 something. So I'm going to redo this build. Maybe I'll release a video on it later on. Maybe not. Right now, I cannot really recommend purchasing this car and building it out as is, just because if you get in there with any decent cars, you're not going to win the race. It's a good build for this car. It's just not a good build for S-Class. So with that being said, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave some comments, and I'll see you in the next one.